Hello everyone, Burb here. We're back to regularly scheduled programming. Today we're going to talk about end closers in the Aquarius Cup. If you're new here or coming from a recent video, I'd like to split up the Champions Meeting Guide into an overview, which includes a overview of the track, as well as some deck building suggestions and some justifications for the different stats that are required. This video is going to talk specifically about the end closer role, which skills to buy on end closers, where to find those skills on cards, as well as which characters can be played in the end closer position, and what they give to assist you. So without further ado, let's begin. End closers. Their biggest strength is they have straightaway spurt, a guaranteed acceleration option that will proc every time you succeed the wit check. They have pretty much the same acceleration options as every single roll, with the exception of head on and on your left. They are very simple to build. I don't mean easy, I mean simple. If you're looking for a roll that is just check off a few boxes and you have a passable Uma, end closers should be your jam. If you look at a late surger video and you see, hey, there's 10 excels and you have 10 mid-range speed skills, and if you get like 4 of each, it's pretty good. If you get 6 of each, it's slightly better. If you get 2, is it enough? Is it not enough? And you just sit there with decision paralysis. End closers don't really have that. You need a couple of skills, and then you just let the position itself, especially the late race speed, the end closer coefficient per se, carry your late race. Just get spurt, just get a mid-race speed skill, get another acceleration. You're pretty much done if you hit your stats. The problems with end closers are, of course, the position keep is tough. There's ways to get around it. They are very RNG heavy, and they are gambling, but if you're going for position-based, you generally will take them. You also, surprisingly enough, have a lack of mid-race speed skills. They kind of helped it a little bit because they added Daring Strike into the game. However, most of the characters with innate in mid-race speed skills, i.e. Gold Chip, are really hard to build on dirt. You have to force them. So all the non-forceable characters have mid-race speed skill problems because you really have Daring Strike, which is hard to grab, or nothing. We'll talk about that. And again, because it's a dirt CM, you have a lack of available characters. This is kind of exacerbated because end closers don't really have that many characters to begin with. You have even less of them in the dirt. So the primary acceleration is straightaway spurt. I would say this is required. If you're not grabbing straightaway spurt, why are you playing end closer, in my opinion? Because this is what sets them above late surgers, is that you have a guaranteed proccing straightaway skill that has the same timing every time, that gives you pretty much the same amount every single time. Late surgers have more mid-race options. They have more acceleration options. If you don't want to grab straightaway spurt, or you find it annoying to, play a late surger. It's going to make your life a whole lot easier. You have timing-based accelerations. You normally want to pick one of these to pair with your straightaway spurt at a minimum, because generally 2 accelerations will get you to the point where you're fighting with a pace chaser that procs like No Stopping Me or an Angling and Scheming, stuff like that. Either this or a position-based excel, which we'll talk about. You have the standard mile Furious Feet. You have the standard dirt forward march lead the charge. Updrafters is Furious Feet's white. You have Highlander, which is a third timing, so it's not as great, but it still works. And if you're running a Guts or a Power build, you have Ig Spirit Guts or Ig Spirit Power. They all work pretty much the same. They are all, like I like to say, on your left, timing-based excels, where if they proc early, they're very good. If they proc late, they are fine. Now, notably, they can technically give you nothing, because if you are properly getting straightaway spurt, you should be pretty much in about 1250-ish. You should have 1250 meters. You should pretty much be at top speed, so there is technically a dead zone on these. But if you proc 2, you're generally just on par, if not better, than the other rolls because of your end closer speed coefficient. Position-based excels. There's 2 I suggest. One of them's on this screen right now. Let's Pump Some Iron is good. If you're in 6th place, it acts as a secondary perfect proc acceleration skill to go with straightaway spurt. You proc both of them, you most likely have plenty of acceleration to win the race. Condor's Fury, Keep It Real, Dancing in the Leaves are all have different conditions. You need a late proc on Condor's Fury with a pass, which normally can happen, but it's a little troublesome sometimes. Keep It Real and Dancing in the Leaves both have different conditions, pass target or side block. All these, I don't think you need to go this far into the Uma pool, because Let's Pump Some Iron's good. All of these timing-based accelerations are good, and you are getting straightaway spurt. So Essentially, I don't think this is necessary. I guess they're all luxury skills, but I wouldn't grab them. Gambling accelerations, rushing gale, corner acceleration. We've talked about 20% for rushing gale and effectiveness, 22% for corner acceleration, corner connoisseur. I don't believe either of these are necessary given how many options there are. Ignore fighter, that's a late surger skill. No stopping me. Just because I got beaten by it, I guess take it if you have the points for it, or at least nimble navigator, because occasionally, like maybe 1 out of every 6 races, 1 out of every 8 races, you will become blocked at perfect timing, and that counts as a second accel, and it is one of the most potent accelerations. You see it's 8.35 lengths. If it perfect procs, the skill is nasty when it actually hits. Now, notably in Track Blazer, you won't get it for free, so it'll be a lot harder to grab. Other accelerations, notably White Lightning coming through because of just the way the positionings work is kind of decent. It's just that these are all 0.05 acceleration skills, so they are not the greatest strength when they actually proc. These two both are overshoot and they're very hard to get. So luxury at best, don't takes at worst. I never goof up for Doto Alt. Has just really, really tiny timing. You have about 65 meters-ish to pass somebody on the final corner in the late race. If you do, it's incredible. It gives you like 3 lengths, which is the same as pump, right? Okay, it's about half strength as pump, but still perfectly fine. Otherwise, it just gives you really nothing. So in my opinion, I don't think this is necessary. Just there's so many options, and this is not one of them. Acceleration has the problem that it's a pass target skill and doesn't have really any condition except mid-race. You normally will be at least attempting to pass somebody before the late race, so the odds of this actually carrying over are incredibly slim. And if you really think about it, if you aren't at least targeting someone to pass in the next 15 seconds, you're in bigger issues than having a good old 0.1 excel, like, or 0.2 excel. It's not going to help you because you most likely are like in 9th position, 5 or 6 like horse lengths behind the next person. So it's sort of a situation where this is like, it helps you in the low rolls, but then you're still not winning the race in that case. Overshoot excels exist. I would not attempt to get shooting for victory or look at Kern because they specifically state final corner, so you have to pass somebody on the final corner, or at least pass into 2 to 4 on that final corner. I don't think they work well enough because if you pass late at all, so that means you need a really good wit roll or a speed skill, the mid-race speed skill to proc on this bit. It does nothing in the late race. It physically will not proc once that corner's done. Redshift, Marzensky, Give Mummy a Hug, Mummy Creek are a little bit different in that generally they can Marzensky can proc anywhere from the final corner onwards, and Mummy Creek can proc on the final straight. They both can proc into the late race, and they both give value if they're not perfect procking. So these can actually chain off of Let's Pump Some Iron and Spurt. If you're in 6th and you hit your Spurt plus Let's Pump Some Iron, you most likely will pass into 5th, hit Marzensky, most likely will pass into 4th, hit Give Mummy a Hug, done. You can go this option of this chaining bit. You are gambling that you will be in 6th position. It's incredibly comp dependent, so if you just happen to have 6 front runners, you're just kind of dead. That's the problem with positioning based ultimates, is that you can only control 1/3 of the horses in that race. So they're still fine as luxury skills. I mean, if you hit your Spurt, you're most likely going to pass somebody, so Marzensky ult actually is like okay. Same thing with Give Mummy a Hug, but it probably will proc later if you don't proc a separate excel. So like, is the 3rd excel really useful? Possibly, possibly not. Maybe it's an A finals pickup. So luxury skills, they do exist. They are decent acceleration options. Mid-race speed skills. This is the problem that end closers have. Their mid-race speed skill option is Daring Strike. Daring Strike is a 0.25 over 6 seconds. It's a gold chip alt basically. It can proc anywhere in the mid-race. So unlike Fast and Furious, which was the late surger one. Well, Fast and Furious is the same, sorry. Unlike, what is that skill called? Rising Dragon. Unlike Rising Dragon, which is a final corner skill, Daring Strike unfortunately can proc the entirety of the mid-race, so the odds of it speed carryovering is not great. However, mostly this is used for positioning, so if you get this, you are attempting to try to get into 6th place or at least further forward in the pack because your straightaway Spurt can just carry you into 1st place if you hit. So that's what this is used for. Pro Curve, with its on combo. Mile corners, end closer corners are all very good. Notably, its on is a little tough because sometimes you just won't pass somebody. So its on may be dead more on end closers, but you should be getting pro curve or mile corners or end closer corners some mid race. You're kind of just trying to get any mid race you can because it's really tough for end closers because they just have less options. Otherwise, standard Uma alts from all the other roles. Nemesis is good in the back of the pack. Shadow Break is an outer pass on 2 to 7th. It's very flexible. That's why everyone likes Brian. Blazing Pride is okay. It has a tight timing, but if you pass somebody in 3rd through 9th, which is like the entirety of the pack, you will get some speed carryover from it. Early Start, which is the white version of Daring Strike, as well as Urara New Year's alt, as well as Gold Ships Anchors Away, they all get absolutely shredded in the Inherit because they go from 0.25 to 0.05, which is an 80% reduction. Not to mention even the duration decrease. I think this is 3 seconds, 3.6 seconds, and 4 seconds. So don't take these. These are not worth it. They are, I guess, luxury, but really they're not. You're going to have other things to buy that are more useful. Going to grab some water. Yeah, my voice was kind of dying there. Sorry. Tail held high, tail 9, slipstream playtimes over are very, very good. This is why Tamama Cross is, if you can force her dirt, it's not the worst thing in the world. I think she also has mile issues, but these 4 skills are good on every single horse. Top pick, Unyielding Spirit, trending in the charts. Big Sisterly are all, unfortunately, they proc early a lot of times. However, because you just have less options, they may be things to look forward. So if you can get these, they are decent. Risky Business. This is the first time I'm talking about it because I forgot to talk about it in the late searcher video, but Sasami Alka and Gold Ship Stamina have this skill. Specifically, it has a chance of draining your stamina, but in turn it can proc at a random point in after the 50% mark. So notably, it can speed carry over. It can just be a normal mid-race speed skill. It can be a late-race speed skill. It can get procced in the dead zone, which is the acceleration zone, and just get eaten up by acceleration. Now, the thing is that when you hit an acceleration like Spurt, you're going to naturally pull this left thing over. That's why Homestretch Haste is still fine. So it's not the end of the world. You need about 50 to 100 extra stamina because you have that chance of just your run dying. Because if you have exactly 601 stamina, end closers require about 560-ish, and this drains about 100-ish, so you're just going to be below it and you're going to die at the end of the race if you get unlucky with the 10% or the 60% chance of it draining your stamina. All right, I liked picking these up because it just is more cinema. Late race speed skills are good. Pace down mode breakers are also good. When you have a velocity skill in the early race that procs, it will cancel out the game's pace down mode. You will get sent into it randomly when the skill ends if you're too close to the front runner, but otherwise it's all just kind of an RNG fest. Ideally, you proc your Uma stand somewhere like around here and it extends outside the position keep, so you get to keep all the speed. Otherwise, the only thing these do is they get you in front of other end closers pretty much. So they're luxury skills. They are. Uma stand in particular is very good. It just is. We're seeing it on pace chasers now in room matches. So Uma stand's nice if you can get it. Otherwise, straight skills, they pull double duty. They proc in the early race or they proc as a late race speed skill. And then your late race speed skills, Triumph and Pulse, Oguri Cap, Rudolph ult, Agnes Digital ult, those are your passing ultimates. These are good because if you are passing people, you are winning the race. So these help you high roll. So you're not going to ever win a average run. You're going to win the run that hits everything. So when you're hitting, these get better because these proc. It says it procs it early. Honestly, like if it just procs a little bit later and you hit an Excel, normally you're at about 1,200 meters before you're at max speed. You will get at least some benefit to these. And of course, if you proc it early and you're passing people, it's a stake too juicy moment. Oh no, I'm passing people. Isn't that what we're trying to do anyways? So I'm going to talk about the checklist now because end closers are very particular. You need stats, you need straightaway spurt. After that, you go for your mid-race speed skill. You go for mile S because you want the highest late race speed possible. If you're able to get those 4 on any character, you have a passable end closer. That's the difference between this and late surgers. There's no real progression. It's, hey, let's check these 4 boxes out. I have a passable Uma. Now let's get the luxuries. The luxuries are being a combination of the next three. They're pretty much equal. Pace down mode breaker combo of Umamusume plus straight skills. Let's pump some iron or positioning base excel and your timing acceleration skills. Generally, you want to do pace down breakers with your positioning skills because it'll let you go into the pace chaser pack essentially. Your timing acceleration skills are just always good. Then after that, late race speed skills, conditional acceleration skills. I almost would take every single late race speed skill before conditional acceleration skill, with the exception of no stopping me, just because they proc every time. Like late race speed skills always proc. They're always useful with the exception of the passing ultimates, but still a lot of times they are useful. And they also are just more fun to watch. So yeah, get these four, get this checkbox, you have a end closer. Now, where to get these skills? The most likely borrow you're going to have is Sweep Tosho SSR Speed, because her output is very similar to Biko Pegasus. You lose a lot of training effectiveness for the other roles, the other trainings, but as far as speed gen is concerned, she has very, very, very good speed gen. So you're not really sacrificing anything in your deck slot by running it. So if you combine this 50% chance of straightaway spurt with, let's say, like a 30% chance from your parents, because you're also going to be running parents with straightaway spurt, hopefully, you have about 80% of your runs, let's say, or about 70%, 80% of your runs that are going to get straightaway spurt. Maybe you have like a hint somewhere that uses straightaway spurt that we're going to talk about. And this is a lot better than the other options for straightaway spurt. Otherwise, you have the standard speed cards that every single other role has. It's nothing really special. Kittis in Black is just notably a very good card in general. So if you don't have Kittis in Black, you can borrow Kittis in Black, or you can borrow Sweep Tosho SSR. That's my recommended borrow. The SR cards are all good. You have a bunch of mile skills on Shinko Wendy. You have a bunch of mile skills on Vodka. This is more of a parent card. Her speed output is not the greatest. Of course, King Halo doesn't have race bonus, but OPP Firm Home Stress Haste, and Sweep Tosho SR, if you're not running the SSR, does have Slipstream on it mostly. Please don't try running Gold Ship Speed. I know it's a really fun card. You do have Umamusume Spurt and Highlander and Groundwork if you're parent farming on your hints, but this card has like 20 hints. So the odds are not in your favor. It's a very low speed output card because it just roams everywhere with no specialty priority. It's fun. I wouldn't grab it. Your wit cards. Air Shakur does technically have straightaway spurt. It is not a borrow recommendation by me because this is, and it's probably popping up, I've actually done an analysis on this card. One of the card analysis I've done, it's basically an SR card in terms of output. So you're basically running like a weak Fuku with no specialty priority. So this nerfs your build quite a bit. But if you have a high LB version and you just want consistency on all your runs, make sure you get straightaway spurt every run, just run Air Shakur Wet. You have standard fine motion. You have Yukino Bijin for some winner skills. But otherwise, honestly, the wit cards are kind of just the best generation possible that you have. Run the best wit cards that you have. So, just like late surges, they don't really have that many wit options. Of course, nice nature wit for the lates, but whatever. All right, so the biggest thing that you're going to grab is most likely Admire Vega Power. If you want Daring Strike, this is really the only way to get it. The white version is not good, so you need the gold version, Daring Strike. So just borrow Admire Vega, try to fit a power card in your build. It does have decent TEF and decent race bonus, but it's there. That's probably going to be the borrow for most people. Otherwise, you get Furious Feet for Guri Cap, which has a bunch of nice skills on hints, but Furious Feet as its chain event. You can also get this from Grass Wonder Guts if you have the card. Risky Business, as I said, is for gold ship stamina for the white, and Sashimi Aokawa for the PAL card. And then your Umastan is taken from Nakayama Fest to stamina if you're running stamina build, or King Halo Power if you're running a power build. The reason why I'm not really recommending Vodka, if you have or you can run it, it's not going to be a borrow because you just have so many power cards here that you're not going to be running 4 power cards. You can try it, but you're going to overcap your stamina at the very least, if not just your power. So I think you borrow Admire Vega before Vodka for updrafters. You borrow Ogiri Cap before Vodka. You borrow King Halo for Umastan before Vodka. And you you run Hishi Amazon for straightaway spurt 50-50 before Vodka. That's just my opinion. So, of course, you get End Closer Straights, End Closer Savvy, straightaway spurt from your from Hishi Amazon Power on hints. Forward March Inari 1 is actually pretty good with Forward March and a bunch of supplementary skills. Daikatu Helios has a bunch of mild skills with Ramp Up, and your typical Rico has Rushing Gale, which is it's a luxury skill, but she does technically have Ramp Up as well. It's a 50-50, so, she's useful. So that's the cards. Let's talk about the characters. Now, the characters, again, there's not that many, so we're just going to go through. The number one, best one, and pretty much everything is Agnes Digital. I think it's just in terms of convenience, she has everything you need. She has Uma Stand and Super Stand. She has Lead the Charge, which is your timing-based acceleration. The only thing is, if you're grabbing Spurt on this character, run her End Closer. Otherwise, you probably should run her Late Surger because she gives a bunch of Late Surger skills as well. So only run her End Closer if you enjoy End Closing and you want to put Straightaway Spurt as a guaranteed acceleration with her Lead the Charge. So she has acceleration down locked, and she has mid-race down locked. You have Unyielding Spirit, which is a good mid-race skill. You have Mild Corners, which is a good mid-race skill. You have Updraft, which is another acceleration skill. You have Top Pick, which is a decent mid-race skill. It's not great. And then you have luxury skills with Super Stand and acceleration. So Agnes Digital, her ult is very good late race speed as well. She has a very flexible stat bonuses. She gives you everything you need. You can run her pretty much in any position on this race, and you're fine. Surprisingly enough, a character that has pretty much the same ceiling is Haru Urara New Year's. So if you are an Urara fan, her End Closer build is pretty good. She doesn't really give you much. She gives you Unyielding Spirit and Long Shot. Hard Worker is a luxury skill. 20% power allows you to just run Speed Wit Decks with some Stamina Sparks. 114 Time of Charm is a mid-race skill. There's no gold chip this time. If you're building gold chip, you're doing it for Oshi reasons or because you are just trying to be difficult, honestly. 114 Time of Charm is basically the same thing as Anchors Away. It's a stake to juicy if it's closer. If it's further away, it's better than Anchors Away. So she has a mid-race speed skill unlock, which is the hardest thing to grab on End Closers. You don't necessarily need Daring Strike. You can if you want to high roll. I mean, you basically have 2 mid-race speed skills that are gold at that point. Really good. But you don't necessarily need it. So all you need to grab on her is Spurt, possibly Uma Stand if you want it, as well as some late race speed skills. She has the mid-race covered for you. Grab Blood Swan Iron because she can fight for the position pack. She's actually pretty good if you build her. Regular one is very difficult because you lose that mid-race speed skill. There's not much analysis here. It's worse stats, worse options. You run this for Oshi purposes. She doesn't really give you much. Elcondor Ponce Fantasy is a great character that has some good mild skills. I'm asking you, why are you not playing this character late? Because she has Rising Dragon as well. She does technically give Unyielding Spirit and Furious Feet. So I guess you have both your acceleration options done, but you lose mid-race speed skills. Whereas if you just run her late, you get the mid-race speed skill, you get the late-race speed skill. Good stab bonuses. I mean, she's easier built late. You can build her End Closer, and it's fine. Otherwise, it's just whatever. Regular Pasa is very hard because you're not hitting second place, mate. Like, it's not happening. You're doing this specifically for the actual bonuses, the stat bonuses. She does give you straightaway adept, but you're just running this because it's a 20 speed, 10 wit. Oguri Cap is a little bit difficult to build because she gives you like no skills except Nimble Nav, but otherwise it's a 20 speed, 10 power, which is one of my favorite bonus spreads, as well as Triumph Impulse will always be a good skill on pretty much every single map. She has the late race covered, so all you do is you get some sort of mid race on her, either through a bunch of whites or Daring Strike. You get straightaway Spurt, you get like another gold acceleration of some kind or a bunch of other white accelerations. You kind of play this as a late surger with Spurt, and then Triumph Impulse carries you to the victory with End Closer coefficient. Christmas Oguri is very hard. I don't even think it's really possible. I mean, it is technically. Festive Miracle is what you're building around on this character. You have these options in End Closer that are unique. Sleeping Lying is just generally unreliable because if you push up in the pack, which is what you want to do, it cannot proc. Go Home Specialty, After School Scroll, Downhill ends too early, so that's not happening. And so you're left with kind of level-headed. So you're trying to be blocked in the final corner, I guess, as your trigger. That doesn't seem very good. So like End Closer doesn't really give Christmas Oguri any special triggers. You're kind of left to the base ones. I don't really see a reason to run on Christmas Oguri End Closer this time. I may be missing something. I'm not a Christmas Oguri player. She does give you Winter Runner. Hishi Amazon. Kind of difficult to build. She does come with a bunch of mid-race in End Closer straights, End Closer corners. Her problem is her ultimate doesn't work because it just almost always procs on the start of the final straight, which is in the Excel zone. Storm and Drung doesn't work as well because once you're in late race, on these shorter tracks, these mile tracks, the late race is so short compared to a long track or a medium track that it's most likely procking in the Excel zone at some point. So really you're grabbing this just because she has she has A mile aptitude and E dirt aptitude, so you just line up some dirt sparks, you hit the S's, you get End Closer straights and corners as your mid race, and then you just have to supplement the rest. She does not come with Spurt. You have to grab Spurt as well on her. I'm going to talk about one force character, that's Narita Taishin. I don't even know how many more videos I have to say this. Narita Taishin probably still is the best End Closer in the game because she comes with Encroaching Shadow. It's basically a 2.5 times straightaway Spurt. It's in kit. You don't have to do the 50-50 for it. So you basically, if you are playing Narita Taishin and forcing her, you probably want to try to build the best Narita Taishin possible in high roll. You probably want to bring in Meyer Vea Power and get Daring Strike. Get Daring Strike, get Umastan, pick her Encroaching Shadow, get some late race speed skills. Nemesis will carry you through the mid race because it is a final corner skill, so it has incredibly high speed carryover potential. This character is insane. Early start is there just to discount Daring Strike. So this character gives you everything if you're able to get her aptitudes up. So notably Mile D, you need to get that to Mile A. So CBA is 3, and then you get 3 in dirt. So you do F, E, D, and all you need is a singular dirt to proc and a singular mile to proc, and you have dirt C and Mile S. Dirt C is enough specifically because Encroaching Shadow gives you guaranteed legs. So it's the same thing as Measure Orion for late surgers. You have a skill that gives you bonus lengths over everyone else. The acceleration on the uphill is not as strong as a normal actual race, so you can kind of compensate with the better skill that's going to proc every time and go from there. So again, we're going to go over the checklist. This has been the End Closer guide. Get your stats, get straightaway Spurt, get a mid-race speed skill, try to get Mile S. That's the baseline. After that, try to get Pump Iron, timing acceleration skills, get Umastan with straight skills, get your late race speed skills, get your conditional acceleration skills. These are all luxury. I like Mile S on my End Closers because I like seeing them. You have higher speed, so you just want to be even faster, right? Grab these 4. These are luxury. In conclusion, you're playing End for the consistent acceleration and late race Spurt. If you don't want to go for Spurt, play late surgers. Please. Don't hurt yourself trying to play End Closers if you don't enjoy RNGing for Spurt. If you don't want to play for the late race speed, like Mile S, Oguri, Rudolph, and Digital, play Front and Pace because those just have a plethora of skills that they can go and, mid-race push and go from there. They have their own checklists and their own struggles, but it's a different struggle than trying to go from the back of the pack to the front. If you don't like pace down braking, you don't like trying to fight back in position, don't play the roles that require that, okay? This is the last video in terms of the scheduled programming of Aquarius Cup, so I will go over the anti-frustration plan again. Build a meta Uma, make them passable. So just one that doesn't require forcing, that is pretty decent, and you can see people, and all the other guys have really said it too. The ones that I said, build your digital, build, this one I guess is digital or New Year's Harurara, or just build a late surger, right? Just build an easy meta Uma that's going to help you win the race. Then build a fun or Oshi Uma if it does not require a force. Then build an Uma that furthers the account. So essentially you're building your parents for the re-release of your other ones. Repeat steps 2 and 3 until you're satisfied. You can occasionally go back to your meta Uma, try to make them a little better with your new parents. And then the biggest thing is stop building Umas for Aquarius at the registration period for Aquarius. I understand Track Blazer is going to be released. Some people want to run it. I don't think it's the worst idea in the world to run your borrows in Track Blazer as you're learning. Just don't expect anything from Track Blazer. So You're going to be learning it. You're going to be making mistakes. Don't get frustrated trying to min-max Umas in Track Blazer. Instead, have 3 Umas prepared prior to Track Blazer that you enjoy, and just take what you get. This has been the End Closer Guide. This now starts what I call the off-season. Basically a time where I get a little more sporadic, I just kind of make videos when I want to. I try to, whenever I have something to say, I do post on the daily, sometimes twice a day, I guess, when I really had something to say, but I may miss a day or two. But these are the topics that I have in the future coming up. What am I pulling for? I will try to make the front runner guide for Aquarius this time once I learn how to actually build front runners. I'm learning that right now. And then I have the parent series for this off season that I'm planning to at least start, which is how to build parents without running parent runs, essentially, because I find parent runs incredibly boring. So this is what there is to look forward to. I hope you've enjoyed the Aquarius Cup guides. Again, I will try to make the front runner guide. So good luck. I'm here in the comments. If you need anything, I'll try my best to respond to as many as I can. Thanks for watching. Burb out.